by being honest and treating me like a family member. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, with that said, now this doesn't work all the time, but well, for those of you that have done sales, most of us know you should never ask a customer you don't know the question. You already know the answer to the question. Okay? That's like they tell attorneys. Maybe that's why they grade us close to attorneys. I don't know. At least we're honest. Most of us. All right? Now this doesn't work all the time. Here again, I say. I'm going to pick on somebody. Trying to figure out who I want to pick on. Well, female drivers, I've really heard that they're not very good. But they had a new commercial, what was it, where the lady said, why are you getting these checks then? You know, have y'all seen that? Would you not agree that the media has a lot of influence on our life also? Okay, I'm going to use you, okay, ready? I'm going to have you say a word a bunch of times, real fast. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question while you're saying it. You need to answer that question just like that, without thinking, okay? All right, say spot.
Spot.
Come on.
Spot.
What do you do to green light?
Stop.
You stop at a green light. She stops at a green light. Now, is that a California thing or? Go train of thought. I had a word there that I was going to make her say. Knowing that that's a very easy question if I ask somebody, do you stop or go at a green light?
Go.
Yes, I do too. Sales is very easy. There's a lot of psychology in sales. There's psychology in life. And it's all about, and I don't like the word sales, but it's relationships. Would you not agree that it's tough? How many married folks in the room? Okay. It's kind of tough sometimes keeping that relationship going. You go through some hills and valleys, don't you? But you stay together most of the time, right? And work things out. Okay. Same thing with customers. You might have, this is all about building a relationship, folks. That customer that hits that lot, they already have their guard up because they've had a bad experience with a car salesman somewhere along the line, or someone's already told them about, hey, guys, when a lie detector is when their lips are moving. Okay, they're lying then, okay? So I'm here to, we're here to make it refreshing, to let them know we're not just here to sell a car, it's about building a relationship. Anybody heard of 6 degrees of separation? Do you know what that is? Everyone know what 6 degrees of separation is? We are all connected by no more than 6 people. You know somebody that knows somebody that might know somebody that knows me. Whether it be the President of the United States, famous movie actors, whatever, we are all connected by no more than 6 people. Okay? So, I take advantage of that. Because you have 2 types of buyers, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see anybody taking any notes. There's 2 types of buyers. You have logical buyers, you have emotional buyers. Okay? Now, which do you think there's more of nowadays with the internet and the way the economy is? Yes, logical buyers. Your logical buyers don't want to know anything about you. They don't want to they don't want to humanize you, because logical buyers will sell you out for $20. I'm not talking a month. I'm talking they'll sell you out for $20 if they can find a car $20 cheaper down the road. They will do that. So I'm here to train you how to get that logical buyer to feel more emotional. And the way you do that is to try to find common ground. Try to find somewhere in there that 6 degrees of separation. You're not going to find it if you're trying to just sell them a car. You're going to find it by trying to find out about them, where they're from, what kind of family they have, what they're going to be using the car primarily for, who's going to be using the car primarily. That's not selling a car. That's finding out their wants and needs. Okay? If you see them come in with a Steelers bumper sticker or whatever, you open it up and talk about anything other than selling them a car. Because they're ready and they got their guard up. First thing you're going to do is jump on them and talk about selling a car. Don't do that. Build a relationship first. Try to open that window up, because when we first meet and greet, we're going to be standing back from them when we're talking to them at first, before we go up and do a handshake. Because I know when you do that handshake, That's what's branding their first impression of you. So if you've already stood back and hadn't talked about selling a car, talked about how great the weather is or whatever it may be, or wow, that's a nice tie, where'd you get that tie from? Whatever it may be, we're going to talk about anything other than a car deal at first. Whether, whatever it may be, if they've got family, their kid, whatever it may be. Okay? We're going to talk about anything other than a car deal at first, folks. Now, some of these logical buyers are going to want to go and get right on talking about the car. Okay? But don't be like the average salesperson and just go with them. Try to get them off track. And just, somewhere in there you'll find, if you look deep enough and you let them know that you're not there just to sell them a car, that you really you care about their wants, their needs, okay? Whether they've been here before, whatever it may be. What was it you liked about your last car that made you buy it? Every customer will tell you what it takes to sell a car. Remember I told you I sleep well at night. I always have been able to, but really I sleep well knowing that I've taken care of my customers, but I really didn't sleep well because I would always be mad and kick myself in the tuchus because of the people I didn't sell, knowing that everybody that hit that lot's there to buy a car. Okay? They're just, to me, they're looking for a salesperson. Okay, they're looking, they're looking for someone that's going to build a relationship with them. My always feeling was that when I didn't sell them a car, I'd go home, I'd sit there in bed all night, and I would worry that that customer's going to go down the road and someone's going to lie to them, sell them a car, and they're going to get all a bad taste in their mouth and worse taste than what they already had, obviously, because they didn't buy a car from me. Okay, and I never did sell every customer. But I know that every customer, let me ask you a question. Does anybody ever go through the drive-thru McDonald's just to look at the menu?
No.
Okay. Well, these people don't come in here just to look at cars. Okay? They're telling you stuff like that because they've had a bad experience or they've got their guard up. They're going to tell you and give you negative signals. Okay? That's why we have to use everything that's positive and not bring up, how are you doing? Because to answer that question, our subconscious side of our brain, we have two sides, everyone knows that, right? Conscious, subconscious. The subconscious side is what drives us, it's what tells us to say how you're doing and everything. It takes 28 days to gain a habit. It can take me up to a lifetime to change that habit or break that habit. Okay, I've got a couple days with you. Okay, you've got to decide if you do want to change, and these things will work. Okay, but if you don't use it in everyday life, and I'm telling you, for those of you, all you men in the room, have you had a date before in your life? You've had a date or two, right? Okay, I guarantee you when you approach that person to get their phone number or get that date or whatever, you've never used the same verbiage or whatever. You've adapted or lowered or raised yourself, whether she was wearing leathers like a biker or whatever, or looked like a librarian, or looked like she just got out of church. You've used a different approach. You've used different words or whatever it may be to get that phone number or get that date. Right? Well, I'm telling you, if you start every one of them out, and you do it to this day, if you're single men, and you go and ask them how they're doing when you go up to them, that's going to plant a negative already in their mind, because we already know that 1% of the population is about the only ones doing good. Because then 4% of people that are successful, such as myself, I'll guarantee you, most people, their lives, they've got either their health's not good, their family's health's not good. Let's just put it this way. A minimum of 95 people out of 100 are not doing well. Would you not agree? Yes. Okay, so to answer that question, with my little CPU on our subconscious side, which in fact will run faster than any Intel processor could ever think about, processing thoughts. Okay, so to answer that question, I've got to think about what's really going on in my mind. What's going on in my life. I've got to think about, well, my cancer's back. I've lost, a lot of loved ones in the last 9 years to cancer. So automatically, it's going to make me have negative thoughts. Okay? Telling you, negativism breeds. And it will also, and there's studies that show that when there's too many red flags and there are negatives that come up on the CPU side, it will put a person in closed thinking mode. It'll put a box right around there to where they don't want to listen to nothing you say. It doesn't matter how good of an impression you made on them at first. Now their mind's all negative and they're negative about you. Okay? That's why it's very, very important to stand back and plant positive seeds. We don't ask how we're doing. All right, so now I'm going to give you the steps to the sale. So everybody write this down. Step 1 is meet and greet. Now, I'm not going to go through all the steps. I'm going to go through what I'm going to train you on. The rest I tell you about, and hopefully you'll know that you're supposed to follow up customers after you're selling a car. And I teach you what's called a 7-11 rule. Step 1 is a meet and greet. Now, I'm going to go through a few no-nos that you never do on meet and greet. You never ask the customer how they're doing. We know that, correct? You always make eye contact with the customer. You never have your sunglasses on when you're talking to a customer. Okay? Never. Because the subconscious mind is going to think, he's already thinking how car dealers are all drug addicts and liars anyway, or whatever it may be. Okay? They're thinking their subconscious brain is thinking, okay, well, because their conscious side is listen to the conversation. The subconscious side seeing in sunglasses and thinking, well, this guy's probably smoked dope or something. That's why his eyes, he's got his eyes hidden. Okay? So that's already putting negative thoughts in the customer's mind. Okay? Too many negatives and too many red flags is going to put a box, closed thinking on that customer. Are you with me? Everybody follow me? Making sense? And I'll tell you a study that Harvard and MIT did on Einstein here in a little bit that will acknowledge everything I'm telling you and back up everything I'm telling you. All right? It's real easy. It's going to be one of the hardest things going to be for you to break the habit of saying, how are you doing? Because we've all been trained all of our life to ask it. And you might say, well, Ron, what if the person asked me how I'm doing? Well, great question. What you do is you plant a positive seed, because if you don't ask them back, basically, you're being rude, right, or disrespectful. So, but we